Just days after celebrating her 42nd birthday, Britain's Princess Kate is in the hospital where she's recovering from abdominal surgery.
Nostradamus, the one who correctly predicted Hitler's rise to power, submarines, atomic bombs, and the Kennedy assassination, more than 400 years before they actually took place. He continued his scared prediction by foretold shocking thing happen with Kate Middleton. Along with that, the British royal family seems to be in a stressful period with information that shocks the world. Join us when we unravel the mystery surrounding Kate Middleton's health battles and the prophecies of the 16th century French astrologer concerning her fate, the one who might be the future queen. The challenge for Kate Middleton. This astrologer is best known for his book Les Prophéties, or The Prophecies, published in 1555 as a collection of 942 poetic quatrains that allegedly predict future events. Nostradamus wrote 1,000 predictions, which he placed in a book divided into 10 chapters, or centuries so-called, because each chapter contained 100 predictions. The predictions were written in a 4-line French verse called a quatrain. After each of the predictions listed below, I have placed in parentheses the number of the century followed by the quatrain's number, sort of like listing the chapter and verse of a biblical passage. No matter the cause, Nostradamus did seem to perceive that his end was near. One of his more celebrated predictions was of his own death, which he referred to in the text of his last almanac, at least a year before he actually expired. Although he passed away centuries ago, his prophecies have continued to captivate future generations over the years. And nowadays, people talk about his prediction about Kate Middleton. The predictions of a modern-day Nostradamus, Athos Salome, are also gaining attention in light of recent revelations about Kate Middleton's health concerns. The Princess of Wales recently revealed she is battling cancer after initially undergoing surgery for what was believed to be a non-cancerous issue. The Brazilian mystic, who claimed to have foreseen major events such as the onset of the coronavirus pandemic and Elon Musk's purchase of X, as known as Twitter, claimed that Princess Kate will be dealing with bone, knee, leg, and joint issues in the upcoming year. The mystic, however, claimed that the princess's primary challenge lies in her future role as a royal. A user wrote on X, which translated in English as, "The prophecy of Nostradamus is fulfilled. Kate Middleton has cancer. The British crown must give the throne to Prince Harry because William no longer meets the requirements to be the King of England." He has claimed that embattled Princess of Wales will have a mountain to climb from now. Before that, hinted recently at the possibility of World War III. He said, "The challenges reported are whether she will indeed be ready to take on the crown. The months of March, June, September, and December are part of her life, as is the year 2025. For there is a significant contention between the brothers about who will replace the father on necessary occasions. Everything is already written in Kate's life, so it is essential that she takes care of her mental health and also her bones. The structure and responsibility weigh not only on the mind, but also on her bones. Although they will never confirm the fact, she indeed has this problem." He said the countdown to 2025 has begun, prompting the princess to focus on her health and continue fighting for her well-being. He added, "In 2025, people around the world eagerly await to see how the Princess of Wales overcomes challenges and shows resilience in embracing the responsibilities and opportunities that await her." Salome claims that he can delve into the depths of the mind to unveil truths and perspectives beyond common understanding. He describes what he does as not simply fortune-telling, but rather a profound and intuitive understanding of information that is, as of yet, inaccessible. It's very unfortunate she is ill. Let's all pray for her. Faith and prayers are the most powerful healers. God is a God of miracles. Nothing is impossible with God. Fate between mother-in-law and daughter-in-law. Mentioning Kate, many people will remember her late mother-in-law, Princess Diana, because they share quite a few similarities in terms of demeanor, personality, and kindness. From their fashion choices and approach to royal life, to their hands-on parenting, Kate and Diana have much in common, despite the fact their paths never crossed. And while Diana's love for her sons William and Harry was clear to see, she desperately wanted a daughter, according to former royal butler Paul Burrell, who was also her close friend. Kate and William welcomed Princess Charlotte in May 2015. Her full name is Charlotte Elizabeth Diana, a tribute to the grandmother she tragically never got to meet. The little royal is said to be similar to Diana in many ways, including her love of dance. While Kate and her children never got to meet Diana, who was killed in a car crash in August 1997, Prince William has revealed how he keeps his mother's memory alive for the youngsters. In the 2017 documentary, Diana, Our Mother, Her Life and Legacy, Prince William said he is constantly talking about Granny Diana with the children. Kate Middleton, who has often been compared to her late mother-in-law, Princess Diana, for a multitude of things, may also be headed for a similar fate amid fears over her well-being. Before Kate officially spoke about her illness, there were many theories, some of which were extremely far-fetched, put forward. Prince William's alleged affair with Lady Rose Hanbury, Marchioness of Cholmondeley, resurfaced, alluding that Kate's marriage may be in trouble. The rumors suggest that William has been in love with Rose for many years, but he ultimately decided to marry Kate. Similar to his father, King Charles, who was in love with Camilla Parker Bowles, but had to marry Diana. However, Charles never got over Camilla. In the early 90s, when Diana exposed Charles's affair, the couple had a messy separation, sending shockwaves across the monarchy. Charles and Diana eventually divorced in 1996, and a year later, Diana died in a fatal car crash. On the other hand, Charles ended up marrying Camilla in 2005. If the drama with Rose Hanbury is true, Kate's marriage may be in a situation similar to Princess Diana's. Of course, I'm not referring to the tragic end of the most beloved princess of all time. I am simply talking about the outcome of her marriage. To add to the mystery, the rumors surrounding Kate's health and her marriage have not died down, given the shroud of secrecy. Many are beginning to worry that there is something really wrong with Kate. This rumor was later claimed to be false and highly damaging, especially after Kate publicly shared with the public about her illness. All the rumors gradually subsided. Did Nostradamus predict Diana's death? Nostradamus made quite a few prophecies about the British royal family, which we will explore shortly. But the question here is whether Nostradamus predicted Princess Diana's death. He might have. After carefully reading Erica Cheatham's 1973 translation of Nostradamus' prophecies, we found 4 that could be attributed to Diana and 1 that could refer to Prince Charles. I say could because Nostradamus' prophecies, just like your daily horoscope, are written in such a way that the truth relies upon how one interprets each prediction. Now I listed the quatrains in the order in which they appear in Cheatham's book, and as I said above, the translations are hers. The interpretations, however, are one author's perspective. Read them and judge for yourself whether Nostradamus, a 16th century Franco-Jewish mystic, actually predicted the tragic death of Diana, Princess of Wales, more than 400 years before she was born. Oh, to what a dreadful and wretched torment! Are 3 innocent people going to be delivered? Poison suggested, badly guarded, betrayal, delivered up to horror by drunken executioners. This is not the best one. It takes a bit of twisting and fudging to make the prediction work. A car wreck at high speed is certainly a dreadful and wretched way to die. The 3 innocents are, of course, Diana, Dodi, and the driver, Henri Paul. Diana was badly guarded, certainly betrayed by Prince Charles, and her heart poisoned by his adulterous affair with Camilla Parker Bowles. The rose upon the middle of the world, because of new deeds, public blood is shed. To speak the truth, they will have closed mouths. Then, at a time of need, the awaited one will come late. One of the better ones. Diana was England's rose. Her blood was shed publicly, witnessed by casual bystanders and paparazzi alike. The new deeds refer to her love affair with an Arab which tweaked the sensibilities of the royals. The third line refers to the fact that Henri Paul kept his mouth shut instead of telling Dodi he was too drunk to drive. The last line speaks of the 2 hours Diana spent injured and bleeding in the car before she was taken to the hospital. By the great number of tears shed, from top to bottom and from the bottom to the very top. A life is lost through a game with too much faith, to die of thirst through a great deficiency. Another good one. The first 2 lines refer to the outpouring of grief over her death, and how that sorrow was felt from the upper to lower classes. The game in the third line alludes to Dodis's penchant for making a game of eluding the paparazzi at high speeds. Unfortunately, they had too much faith in driver Henri Paul. The last line is an archaic way of describing death by drunkenness. For the joyful maiden, the bright splendor will shine no more. For a long time, she will lack salt. With merchants, bullies, odious wolves, all confusion, the universal monster. The first line is self-explanatory. In the second, to lack salt means to lack wisdom or experience, which fits the 19-year-old Diana when she married Charles. The third line refers to her various loves: merchant, Dodi, bully, Charles, and her constantly being stalked by the paparazzi, wolves. The last line alludes to her low self-esteem, longing for true love, and the general turmoil surrounding her life. And finally, here is a quatrain I found that could very well refer to Prince Charles, the heir to the throne, and what may happen should he become king. Quite a different man will attain to the great empire, distant from kindness, more so from happiness. Ruled by one not long come from his bed, the kingdom rushes to great misfortune. Charles has been described by many as cold, distant, and unhappy. The third line, not long come from his bed, is an archaic way of describing an adulteress. It might be Camilla. The last line foresees bad times for the British monarchy should Charles become king while still maintaining his affair with Camilla. Setting aside what Nostradamus predicted, it seems that Princess Diana herself foresaw her own passing. Written with chilling foresight just 10 months before her untimely death in a Paris car wreck, Diana put her fears that she was the target of a sinister death plot down on paper as insurance for the future. Frightened and lonely, Diana knew the letter would never be taken seriously while she was alive. But filled with foreboding, she was determined to fight back against the Buckingham Palace machine she believed had been trying to silence her ever since her highly publicized breakup with Charles. The following is a look back at the eerie predictions the late princess made in 1996 in the run-up to that unforgettably dire day in the late summer of 1997. The former Princess of Wales wrote, "I am sitting here at my desk today in October, longing for someone to hug me and encourage me to keep strong and hold my head high. I have been battered, bruised, and abused mentally by a system for 15 years now, but I feel no resentment. I carry no hatred. I am weary of the battles, but I will never surrender. I am strong inside, and maybe that is a problem for my enemies." The handwritten letter, the most compelling document suggesting the princess's death, was no accident and was handed to her trusted butler, Paul Burrell, for safekeeping. "I'm going to date this and I want you to keep it, just in case," she wrote to Burrell. At the time Diana penned the letter, 2 months after her 1996 divorce from Charles was finalized, Burrell claimed she was racked by anxiety and believed someone had bugged her apartments in Kensington Palace. She feared the royal family's loyalists believed that as long as she was on the scene, she was a loose cannon poised to reveal the family's deepest secrets. Diana was enjoying huge public support, but she had an overpowering feeling that she was in the way of shadowy plans hatched by palace insiders. "I have become strong, and they don't like it when I am able to do good and stand on my own 2 feet without them," she wrote. Diana became so paranoid about her safety, correctly as it turned out, that she persuaded Burrell to help her pull up the floorboards at her home so they could search for hidden listening devices. She fired her official police detail because she didn't trust them, stashed away secret tapes and diaries, and told her intimate circle about her fears. More than a decade after her death, a close friend revealed, Diana was worried she wouldn't see her sons grow up. There was a certain desperation in her manner. She was teaching them to be more normal, to offset the influence of the royal family when she was gone. Although there are quite a few similarities, as I mentioned above, the predicted fates of mother-in-law Diana and daughter-in-law Kate seem quite different. Kate's future and mission for the royal family appear to be brighter, but also more laden with responsibilities compared to her late mother-in-law. However, these are merely predictions, and we need to wait for time to reveal the truth. Meanwhile, let's take a look at Nostradamus's other predictions for the remaining members of the royal family. Other predictions about royal family. Speaking of the royal family, the most frequently mentioned prophecy of Nostradamus is when he predicted the rise of Prince Henry. Although it is very unlikely for Henry to be in the next line, Nostradamus has mentioned this possibility before, so let's explore the scenarios in which this might happen. But before discussing the successor to King Charles III, let's delve into the prediction about his abdication. Recent speculation has surfaced regarding predictions made by 16th century astrologer Nostradamus, suggesting a tumultuous future for Britain's King Charles in 2024 after his cancer diagnosis, which was discovered when he was undergoing treatment for an enlarged prostate. Royal observers speculated that King Charles might step down, either voluntarily or due to pressure related to his health. The revelation of King Charles's cancer diagnosis has left many questions unanswered, with Buckingham Palace withholding details regarding the cancer type and stage. This lack of transparency has fueled both concern and speculation about the monarch's health and the potential implications for the British monarchy. In his renowned work, Les Prophéties, Nostradamus seemingly forecasted the monarch's downfall, including potential abdication or forced removal. Nostradamus predicted the potential abdication of a king and the rise of an unexpected successor, which now seems to echo the current situation involving King Charles and Prince Harry. The ancient prophet said the King of the Isles would be driven out by force and would be replaced by one who will have no mark of a king. Before that, he accurately predicted Queen Elizabeth II's passing at around the age of 96, a prophecy that aligned with Buckingham Palace's announcement of King Charles III's diagnosis following his mother's demise in 2022. However, the question of how Prince Harry, who has shown little interest in royal duties, would end up as king remains unanswered. The royal family has faced its fair share of scandals in recent years. However, the one that garnered the most headlines and caused papers and tabloids across the world to go nuts was Prince Harry's exit from the royal family and the fallout thereafter. Despite his decision to pull back from his familial duties, many wonder if Prince Harry could still rule as king. As is his birthright, otherwise known as birthright privilege, Prince Harry is fifth in line for the throne. In the instance of Charles's death, Prince William, Charles's firstborn son, is next in line for the throne. If something were to happen to William, Harry still wouldn't be next in line, as that would be William's firstborn Prince George, then Princess Charlotte, and finally Prince Louis. If William were to abdicate, which is highly unlikely, and George was still under 18, then it's a different question. The role of regent means a person who governs a kingdom in the minority, absence, or disability of the sovereign would then perhaps go to Harry until George was old enough to take on his royal duties. Nostradamus predicting Harry would become his successor seems unlikely, but we will never know what will happen after it actually happens. Speaking of Prince Harry, we cannot skip the prediction about his reunion. 2024 brings a plethora of retrogrades and some potentially life-disrupting eclipses for everybody, and this includes members of the royal family. Harry's chart is moving into the house of money, talent, and self-worth. It's also going to move into his house of community, marketing, and sales, Mr. Sasson said. As well as having success in his ventures in the new year, the astrology expert also forecasts that Prince Harry and Meghan Markle could have a third child when Jupiter moves into his house. Gall, author of The Astrology of 2023, Traversing the Bridge. Movement of the People, said Jupiter has been in Harry's house and family for the last year, for the first time in the river 80 years, which is the planet of unpredictable, crazy energy. After that, there will most likely be a reunion of the royal brothers. The reunion, or patching up, could be between the two brothers, who have become somewhat estranged in recent times. Sasson said Prince William, a Sagittarius Capricorn, was born during a new moon and close to a solar eclipse, which is a pretty powerful sign for a ruler, but it is likely he will be a late bloomer, and things will take time for him. But is this reunion possible? When the king announced that he had cancer, the Duke of Sussex, who withdrew from his role as a senior member of the British royal family, along with Meghan Markle, flew back to England to visit the king. It is known that Harry is also ready to return to temporary missions to support King Charles. However, Prince of Wales, William, who is angered by his younger brother's repeated attacks on the monarchy, is expected to block any attempt by Harry to return to the royal family. Sources close to William say that after King Charles III was diagnosed with cancer, William would take on more duties himself if necessary. The Prince of Wales also thinks Harry and Meghan cannot be trusted. A source close to the matter said it was unlikely William would allow his younger brother to return to royal duties. Whatever was discussed between William and the king was private, but it's clear William won't allow Harry back. William used to think it was a bad idea, and now he's even more clear with that in mind. If anyone is going to take on more duties, it will be William. His focus is on his father's health, his family, and what's best for the monarchy, 0%. It's possible that Harry will return in any capacity, the source said. Previously, in his autobiography Spare, Harry criticized his family, accusing his brother of pushing him into a dog bowl in a fit of rage. He also directed his attacks at his stepmother, Queen Camilla, and sister-in-law, the Princess of Wales. Last year, a book by Omid Scobie, said to be Harry and Meghan's spokesman, sparked controversy over allegations of racism within the British royal family. The two royals are said to have discussed the skin color of the Sussex's son. King Charles believes building bridges with Harry and Meghan will benefit the monarchy, but believes any official role for the Duke of Sussex would be a step backwards. In 2020, when the Sussexes left the royal family to seek financial freedom, the late Queen Elizabeth II refused their request to both perform duties on behalf of the monarchy and be allowed to pursue commercial interests. The British royal family at that time came to an agreement that allowed the Sussexes to seek a new life outside the home, but prohibited them from declaring themselves princes or taking advantage of royal connections for commercial gain. From the above information, do you think it is possible for Harry to reunite with the royal family? The answer is maybe no. The last pope. This is also one of the famous predictions of this man. According to Nostradamus, we could be facing a year that could mean the farewell to Pope Francis, who at 87 years of age in 2024 has already gone through several health problems. The Pope had to skip the UN climate conference because of lung inflammation and breathing problems. Through the death of a very old pontiff, a Roman of good age will be elected. Of him it will be said that he weakens his see, but long will he sit and in biting activity, Nostradamus wrote. While the arrival of a younger, vigorous pope sounds like a good thing, Nostradamus immediately goes on to say that the new leader will weaken his see, and that he will be pope for a long time. The exact meaning of weaken is, of course, open to debate. Does he mean the influence of the church will somehow lessen, or is some greater scandal on the way? Well, only time will tell. However, it's essential to note that his writings, particularly in Les Prophéties, are written in a cryptic and metaphorical style that is open to various interpretations. Many of his quatrains are vague and can be applied to different events. World War III. On the other hand, the Frenchman predicted the beginning of a new world war 79 years after the end of the second one. A confrontation around China is something that many geopolitical experts and journalists have started to see in the changing dynamics and rise of China as a global power. In the past, China has showcased its brute force several times in regions around the South China Sea and Taiwan, most of them through its naval ships. Analysts believe this may allude to the escalating conflict in Asia, with China involving NATO countries, potentially leading to a violent military conflict or an all-out war. Nostradamus also predicted something similar to this centuries ago. In one of his quatrains, he wrote about combat and naval battle. He said that the red adversary will become pale with fear, putting the great ocean in dread. Some think that the red adversary could be referring to China. He could well be referring to what happened in Ukraine, the China-Taiwan conflict, or Palestine. Some interpreters point to every earthquake, every political upheaval, and every attack on Israel as a sure sign that the end times are rapidly approaching. While the events may signal the approach of the last days, they are not necessarily indicators that the end times have arrived. The Apostle Paul warned that the last days would bring a marked increase in false teaching. The Spirit clearly says that in later times some will abandon the faith and follow deceiving spirits and things taught by demons. The last days are described as perilous times because of the increasingly evil character of man and people who actively oppose the truth. Throughout Christian history, believers have speculated that the prophesied end times were just about to start. Some audacious ones have even set specific dates. People predicting end times dates usually focus on things like wars, increasing wickedness, and natural disasters. They talk about bad things like the increased fierceness of storms, the surge of killer viruses, severe famines and droughts, and escalating tensions between nations. There is no doubt that world war will be a part of the future. Christ plainly taught that there would be war prior to his return. Jesus foretold nation will rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom. Similarly, Revelation 6:4 foretold a symbolic horseman representing warfare that would take peace away from the earth. To be more specific, the future does hold at least one more world war. There is nothing in Scripture that says there will be only a certain number of world wars. World Wars I and II are not explicitly mentioned in Scripture, nor is a possible third world war. It is only the last war that is mentioned in detail, which allows the interpretation that there may be others before the final conflict. So, although there will be at least one more world war, there is no doubt of the outcome. Righteousness will prevail as Christ, the King of Kings and Lord of Lords, defeats all who oppose him. It is also worth mentioning at this time that following the 1,000-year reign of Christ, there will be another uprising which could possibly have the scope of a world war. Satan will be bound for 1,000 years and then released. Upon his release, he leads a rebellion among the peoples of the earth. Christ quickly puts down this rebellion and permanently judges Satan, casting him into the lake of fire as he did with the beast, Antichrist, and the false prophet.